Hey everybody, I'm meteorologist Andy Parker. It is a pleasure to have you along as we work our way through a wet first half of the weekend, but get ready. It is going to turn white as we get to tonight and then during the day on Sunday. A completely different type of weather as we kind of go back from spring to winter-like conditions. Let's take a look at what we have outside. This is the weather system that's going to make a move right now. It's been raining across western New York all day today and will continue to do so right on into the evening hours before switching to snow during the day on Sunday. Let's go ahead and bring this full so you can get a peek at what's going to happen here. This is how it's going to unfold. You can see there's the rain switching to snow, and then you can see the white and blue coming across the lakes. That's going to pick up some of that snow and put it down on the hills south of Buffalo. So let's bring this back again, rewind it. I'm going to get in a little bit closer. We can take all of your questions. We can see your comments, good or bad, on the snow on the side of the screen. Feel free to place them in there. This is where you can get your questions answered. We're going to talk about snow totals as well. There you can see some of the snow on the hills of the southern tier overnight into the first part of Sunday, and then it will continue during the day on Sunday for areas south of Buffalo, especially if you're in the higher elevations. But you will see snowflakes even into the north towns during the course of the day with some gusty winds. Now, the thing that everybody wants to know, how much snow are we going to get with this weather system? Well, as we take a look at this, this is a peek here at the entirety of western New York. Your snow totals on the screen right there. You can see that the north towns, not a big deal. This is a an easy walk in the park, only an inch or two in most of Niagara and Orleans County. Northern Erie County, not involved in the advisory. As you're at the lower levels of the atmosphere and of the elevations of western New York, you're only going to see about an inch or two of snow, but it's still going to be a gusty wind that blows through. And then you can see portions of the southern tier a little bit less. Let's go specifically to the north towns, and we can pick out your city up there. We have Newfane and St. Catharines, about an inch of snow there. 1 to 2 as you get to Lockport and Medina. Once you go south of the Thruway, but you're inland of Alden, Batavia is going to sit in that 2 to 4 inch range. How about the city of Buffalo, Williamsville, Depew? Anybody in the house that wants to see those? Only about an inch or two of snow there. Same thing around the Thruway, the 190 and the 90 interchange, the 290, the 990. Everybody's going to be in about the same situation. It begins to pile up a little bit more once you get down into the south towns and you go south of Chestnut Ridge. You've got to go up a hill to see the snow this time around, and you'll be able to see that once you get to the hilltops of East Aurora or portions of southern Erie County. It looks like north of Springville, once you get to Genesee Road and those areas in there, you'll be picking up about 6 inches of snow from Sunday into Monday. It looks like south of Attica, 4 to 6 inches of snow there. Perry, Arcade, and Pike. As we go deeper into the southern tier, you can see those same snow totals coming out, about 6 inches on the hills, 1 to 2 along the shoreline of the Ripley, Dunkirk, Westfield, and Angola. That's what we're going to look at there. These are the snow totals across all of western New York. Again, you can take a peek at them here. And if you just joined us, popping in the screen, we're going through snow totals on the weather system that is coming in. And by the way, if you haven't remembered, it is daylight saving time. So we are going to spring forward as we go through the night tonight. So we're going to lose an hour, so it gets us into the snow a little bit quicker. Yeah, 1 to 2. Will it melt, John? Absolutely. Look at this. You can see he says 1 to 2. Is it going to melt? Should we bother shoveling it? Yeah, it's not a long-lived system because we're going to bounce back next week pretty quick. Take a peek at this as we go from the 40s on a very breezy but sunny Monday to the 50s. It does look like we'll get another shot of snow again, but that doesn't come back until it looks like next weekend. Unfortunately, we'll play this all over again. If you're just popping in right now and you want to check out what we have going on, this is the big picture. If you could do a like or a share on the screen, that would be awesome. That's the best thing that you can do for us. We're talking about Pendleton being an easy ride up there as well. Elmwood and Amherst Street, only about an inch or two of snow. Here's the weather system as it comes in. It's all rain right now, but as we work our way through the overnight, you'll wake up to kind of the switch in the morning hours of your Sunday. Not much on the ground at all. This is not a Sunday morning thing. It is going to be more of a afternoon and evening thing. As you can see, that snow, as it does stick in southern Erie, Chautauqua, and Cattaraugus County. Outside of that, there's really not going to be that much snow out of this system, but it will be a shock to the system as this all goes by. So again, we'll pop those snow totals up And you can take a look at what you're interested in. We've got Jocelyn saying, what about Lancaster? What about Hamburg? We'll get into all of those. Let's start with the North Towns here. And as we look at some of those on the screen, you can see really if you're along the shoreline of Lake Ontario, you see the least amount of snow. Lockport, Tonawanda, about an inch or two there. We'll drift into the city of Buffalo and no big drifts for the city. A slushy 1 to 2 inches of snow from Sunday into Monday morning. So if the flakes will fly starting Sunday morning, and then they'll shut down on Monday morning. That's what you're looking at there. We had Lancaster questions. We're going to put them on the screen. Not much snow for Cheektowaga either. Hamburg, you're in that situation where if you have no elevations, if you're closer to the lakeshore, you don't see much at all. If you're going to be up on one of the hills of Hamburg, where you start bumping into Eden, that's where you end up with some of those snow totals. Again, you've got to be on a hill to see the snow. South of 20A, once you get, again, up into some of the hills of the 219 or 16, that's where you're going to pick up that snow. And then, again, portions of the southern tier. Not all of the southern tier. If you're in grape country along the Thruway and 20, you're going to see a lot less snow than areas that are up on the hilltops. Those are the ones that are going to get a little bit more. And then as you start coming down out of the hills, Olean kind of on the bubble there, will have enough to cover the grass, but probably not enough to bring out any snow blowers. And again, you're only about a 1 to 2 inch range in most of Allegheny County. So a pretty easy go for a lot of Western New York in this one. This is not a big hit for us. And again, some folks were saying, should we even shovel it? Well, you might not have to. If you only have an inch or two, you can kind of let it ride, because this is not going to be a flash freeze that sticks around for days and days. This is going to be pretty quick shot of cold on Sunday, and then a big bounce back as we start to see a couple of 60s in there next week. And for the folks that just popped into the room, we can see a lot of people just making their way in. It's a spring forward situation as we are sliding closer and closer to the spring season. And as we change from our spring-like weather, the spring rain that we had today, even though technically it's still winter, you can see a bit of a lull overnight, and then there's the snow that begins. You'll have some snowflakes flying around during the course of the day on a very chilly Sunday. Wind chills will make it feel like it's more like the 20s out there, and you can see how the snow kind of sticks around until the evening hours before exiting. And as it does exit, this is what it's going to leave behind. Reiterating this, Guy Z says, is it plowable in the North Towns? Well, it depends on how bored you are, I guess. If you want to hop out into the North Towns, you've got about a 1 to 2 inch accumulation from Sunday morning through Monday morning. So this is probably under the plow limits there that you'd want to go about. Middle of the week, yeah, that's gorgeous out there. OP, let's bring it down to the South Towns as we see 1 to 2 inches in the city. If you're closer to West Seneca, Corey, you're not going to see a lot of snow, but if you're up on any of the ridge tops in southern portions of Orchard Park, that's where you're going to begin picking up the snow. Yes, this is going to be a slushy event for us, the heavy stuff initially, and then it'll become a little fluffier a little bit later. Corey, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Deborah says this stinks no matter what. Doesn't matter how much you are. Yeah, this is kind of a party pooper, you know, but that's why we have the sun coming in a little bit later. And then if you're in the southern tier, anybody down there, what do we have here? Colleen says, when will the snow arrive in Springville and when will it impact driving on the 219? It would be late tonight. And then tomorrow morning you'll have some, but they will salt the road, and you will find this to be a plowable snow in portions of the southern tier. You got it by the Aurora border, Corey, so you'll probably be one of the ones where shoveling might be optional. But again, this is over the course of an entire day where we could see in a big lake effect storm, you get this stuff in a matter of an hour. This is an entire day. So I want to do this because we just got out of 65 and 70 degrees, and to go backwards into snow, it's something that people should know about ahead of time and not find out after it's on the ground. So this is more informational than a scare tactic. It's just to get you updated on what's coming so that when you do walk out the door, you'll be the one that's prepared for what you have. So if you didn't take off the snow tires, you're doing good in some sites in the South Towns and Southern Tier, but the North Towns, you'll have to use your winter driving skills only on the secondary roads that don't get touched. You can see how those totals increase as you go along the elevations. That's where you have the highest elevations of Chautauqua, Cattaraugus, Southern Erie County are where you see those pinks or magentas depending on your screen, and that's what we're looking at there. So this is kind of the timeline for it as we pop this full. Again, we'll rewind this into today's date, and you can see it's all rain out there now, stays all rain out there until we get through the overnight hours. That's where it starts to switch right there in southern Erie County. This will be the first spot to see snow. That's at around 3:15 in the morning, and then it kind of continues off and on. But you can see that darker hue of blue that goes right through Gowanda, Cassadaga, Sinclairville. Jamestown will be on the end of this, not getting a heavy hit, but you will get snow around the Jamestown area. The higher you are, the more snow you're going to get. And you can see that this really is not a huge impact in the north towns. Yeah, you'll see some snowflakes, but it's not going to amount to much as we see that continue all the way to Rochester. More of a wet ride along the thruway. I would assume that they are going to be treating that very well with salt, and this will be one that salt should do the trick. So again, I'll run through those snow totals for you. With the bad news, let's go to the north towns. You see the least amount of snow out of this one, and then as you work south of the thruway, that's where we find our numbers. Again, 1 to 2 inches of snow. Cheektowaga, Depew, West Seneca, Lancaster. West Seneca chimes in, says, no more for us. We're good. We've had our snow for the season. And then once you see Chestnut Ridge south, that's where you start to pick up those bigger numbers. Wyoming County out there, once you get to Letchworth, it starts dropping off again, but you can see those numbers ride the ridge all the way down to the New York-Pennsylvania line. We drop off very quickly. The thruway, if you're running that route tomorrow, anywhere from Erie to Buffalo, it should be a pretty easy go. They can manage an inch or two. Here's the big picture again. You can see low-lying areas not getting much out of this, but it's the upper elevations. I will leave you with this. The look ahead as we find a breezy, cool, but sunny Monday after all of this is done. And then you'll find that temperatures rebound quickly into the 50s and 60s early next week. If anybody has any questions, comments on here, take them quick because I'm going to bow out on this one and we'll bring another update to you on Sunday. But we don't feel that there's going to be a lot of change with this. We're pretty set in what is coming our way as far as these totals. We're not looking for a lot of variance there. No, it's not like this is going to switch around and drop 8 inches on the north towns. This is pretty well set for what's going to come over the next 24 to 36 hours. So, hey, Mary, thank you for stopping by. If I haven't said it, please throw a like on this page. That would be great. If everybody right now hit that like button just one time, throw it up over 100. And we'll let it run on here. And sharing this is fantastic as well. This is not going to be a super long one for us. This is kind of quick, concise, getting out the bad information with the snow and I guess the good information with the warm, contrasting both of those with the timing on it there. So we'll find out what happens. This is not the last snow of the season. I do think that we've got another one coming up late next weekend and into early next week. But the good news is that when you get these snows like this, the rebound is pretty quick. I don't think we're going to rebound quite as quick next week. I think next week is going to be the coldest week of March as we look at it. Not this coming week, but the one after that, I should say, is going to be the coolest week of March. I guess that would be the third week of March would be colder than the first and the second, but we'll find out how much snow comes down there. This is what we have going on outside. Again, there's the contrast. I'll leave you with the good stuff. And also this, do not forget to check your smoke detectors and spring ahead so you're not out of sync with the rest of Western New York on Sunday. Hey, I want to thank everybody for stopping by. We appreciate it. If you haven't liked the page, do so, and we'll see you next time.